Hello, we're here.
We made it.
The journey.
I know. 30 days into graduation.
Literally 30 days. And we're
Count
not. Are we counting?
Oh, absolutely. Have been counting since 75 days.
We've been counting since D1 year.
Correct.
Literally since we got that white coat. No,
yes,
for real.
No, really.
It is such a privilege and an honor to be here and to be able to also, even though like I've spoken with you before, but it's an honor to like also learn more. Yeah. Because there's gonna be tons of things that I'm also gonna be learning through this walk that we're gonna be taking today. We're gonna call this a journey today. And I'm just really excited for this talk, but also for what the future holds for you as well. So shall we just dive right in? Should we just go right on into it? So I want to take us from the beginning. Of this journey of becoming Dr. Paola, DDS, right? Doctor of Dental Surgery. Walk us through how you've gotten here. How did we come to getting to dental school and wanting to become a dentist?
I think the first thing that I thought of is just all the compliments I got growing up in America, specifically just my smile. People always just like, oh my gosh, you have such a bright smile, you have good teeth. That was the first compliment as a young black girl in America. I was like, okay, these Americans, when I smile, something changes between our dynamics. I've always put a smile on because people treat you better. People want to have more interaction with you. And it's so funny because I never even went to the dentist until I was 21.
Going to the dentist is a privilege.
That my youngest sister is the reason why I got introduced into dentistry. There was like those mobile volunteer cards where the dentist, a pediatric dentist, actually, it was actually a pediatric dentist came in and looked at my sister's teeth and was like, oh, you know, she has a cavity, but it's not so deep. We think we can reverse it. I was like, what do you mean reversing decay? Like when I think of decay, I think of apples that's gone bad. I was like, what in the juju? How are we gonna go back? That's kind of where it started for me, helping my sister floss better, and then I encouraged the whole family. When we went back, she didn't have a cavity anymore. That was at the Ohio State University. This was probably when I was a teenager, but didn't think, for me, I went to the dentist for the first time and then got into dental school when I was 24.
Lovely. Also, I heard that plug to the Ohio State. I'm going to say go blue because I went to Michigan.
Oh, no.
So, I'm going to just throw that in there. Whatever you decide to do with that, that's all you do.
All my family is about to rah-rah at you right now.
Rah-rah, like, as in they like Michigan or?
No, as in, like,
I'll pray for y'all. I'll pray for y'all. Tell me a little bit more now about family and growing up.
My family, they're Ghanaian. They were really sold on the American dream. They wanted to come abroad by any means necessary. When I talked to my dad, he was trying to find his way abroad, like any abroad, just trying to get out of Ghana. For more opportunity, he was an accountant. He had worked in Nigeria, several different cities, and the money just wasn't enough to provide for his family. So we landed in Italy. I was born. We were there for about 20 years. And we had a little short stint in Germany. I think this is my dad and my parents trying to figure out where they should stay long term. And then, we settled in America. I didn't find out that I was undocumented until I was in middle school. So that was a real shocker for me because this whole time I just was like, I'm in Britney Spears' land. And now I'm like, oh, they kind of want me out of here. Every election year always talks about immigration. It's always a central topic. And now it was like a central topic for me. So I was like, oh, this changes a lot of things. And then it started to put the pieces together for me too, like how my older sister was the top of her class in high school, but she didn't go to college. And so then that conversation was always just like, why? And I was just always like, wait, I don't think I want this for myself. I started praying. I felt like I was going to be my family's intercessor that was going to really achieve the American dream, getting us out of our 2-bedroom house while there's like 7-10 people in this apartment. But that's how we made ends meet. My parents were trying to not live paycheck to paycheck, but also take care of 4 kids plus some. I grew up in a large family that like the standard was excellence. Like you weren't really bringing C's home. I was rewarded for every A I got with art supplies, which makes me a really creative kid. I didn't grow up privileged, but because of all the things that happened growing up, I think it's really made me resilient. And I'm so thankful for it. I look back at the stories, I'm like, no one has these stories. These stories are grade A.
You mentioned that your father was an accountant. What did your mom do?
My mom was a chef. She also took care of like the elderly as well. So I got to like see firsthand what it took to actually take care. I thought I was going to be a geriatric doctor for a really long time, but I got to see what the end stage after retirement looks like. And it's actually shaped how I'm thinking about the future now a lot, because people really think about how to make it to retirement, but people don't know how it looks. I've seen it when your kids are taking care of you, or your kids are so busy trying to make it to their retirement that there's someone else to step in. Yeah.
Wow. So thank you to the parents.
Thank you, Mom. Thank you, Dad.
Are there things that your family members, not just your immediate family, any one of your family members have taught you or have shared with you that has really shaped who you are today?
Yeah. I think of 5 crucial people along the way. But my favorite advice from my mom is to have fun. That advice itself has really served. My dad is the academic of the family, so I would say he just taught me, like, if you don't make it, there's someone else to replace you. It taught me my competitiveness, but I feel like my mom's side definitely softened, even though it sounds really cutthroat, is that there's someone who wants every single thing you're presenting right now. Someone wants it.
Absolutely.
Someone wants the hair that you're wearing. Someone wants the being in America.
Yep.
So someone's fighting. So you gotta fight to stay where you are. If my mom was to have fun, my dad gave me the balance. You can always have fun.
I still take care of business.
You still have to take care of business. So my dad taught me how to take care of business. The third person, the pivotal advice that I've never heard before. So she was the founder of Children's Defense Fund, is a nonprofit organization. Her name is Marian Elderman Wright. Her advice to me when I got a moment with her was to work hard until you're 30. Everything else pans out. In my head, when she told me this advice, I was like, oh, the next 15 years? Okay, bet. So she's like, do everything before try everything, fail as much as you can. She gave me a marker of like, okay, up until 30, I have to figure this out. It's interesting because now I'm close to 30 and I'm turning 29, which you guys are here to celebrate with me. I disagree now. Up until me now turning 29, I thought that was solid advice. But there's so much life to live after you're 30. Actually, now I'm like, I have stuff to do until 40. But I definitely think that if I didn't have that curfew or deadline, there's something to say about urgency. This person I've never met, her name is Buzoma St. John, but I've never had someone who's inspired me before. Like, I remember when I first got to my dental school year, they're like, who's your inspiration? I was like, I don't have anyone. Until I met her. One of her books is called The Urgent Life. And from what I realized from her book is like, you know, like you can, whatever you think the American dream is, it's fleeting. But you still have to have a goal that's pretty big that you have to run towards. The closer you are, it's like a mirage. It'll get clearer. When it's getting clearer, being partnered with God, you get to make certain choices and then God does the rest. Have fun, work hard because someone else wants it. Work hard until you're 30. And there's an urgency to your life.
Thank you for sharing that. Thank you to the mentors or the people that helped shape those thoughts within you.
Exactly.
And they could have been sound advice, or it may not have been either. The fact that you kept those with you and within you that have helped guide you to where you are today speaks wonders. And it speaks volumes. You're a non-traditional student.
I am.
Could you tell us a little bit about what that means for you and how you navigated through being non-traditional?
Being a non-traditional student, I think if you're about to graduate college, you think that's like the worst thing. I don't know whatever circle you're in, or there's that website.
Student Doctor Network. Yes, I know it very well.
Network.
Yeah, it has like a 5.0 GPA.
Yes.
Yeah.
Whatever you're reading on these pre-med, pre-farm, pre-anything, when they say take it with a grain of salt, you have to see how small it is. Like, let it season your idea of what's out there, but take it only with a grain of salt, because the perception of not going straight in made me think instantly I was behind. I was a junior in college, and unfortunately my mom was recently deported. Then the new administration rolled in, and he took away documented status. So the only status that I had to propel my career was taken back. I was dealing with 2 devastating things. I was sad and feeling hopeless because my mom was not within reach. I felt like I didn't have the last parent I would have in my immediate circle to really advise me is leaving. And also going to a country that I have not visited since I was maybe a child. And then For this individual to come in and have us be a target within the first 100 days, I was like, sir, do you see how hard we're working? Still paying tax dollars.
Paying taxes. That's what's also wild. Yep.
I had a lot of thoughts of just like, but at the end of the day, what it really made me feel was I was unwelcome. Yeah. Like my application for the American dream, I felt like was instantly denied. It took me to a really sad place. For some reason, with the community that I had, thank you guys, everyone who's from Berea. If it was not for them, I would have just been like, let me drop out of college. Because I was like, if that's not what I'm doing, I don't want to do anything. So let's just wrap this whole life up. But I think what's important about even that devastating point that made me non-traditional, what I'm so thankful about is despite everyone encouraging me not to do dentistry, I'm glad I didn't listen.
I am too.
But delayed does not mean denied.
Come on now.
I ended up getting a scholarship to do research at Caltech. That principal investigator really liked the work I was doing with him. We ended up opening a lab at UC Davis. I am working with someone who, as inquisitive as I am, he had no problem with my inquisitivity. He actually encouraged it, told me to put in my application for UCSF. I was trying to leave California. I was like, I'm only here in California because it's a sanctuary state. I'm here just to be safe from the powers that be. Here by myself in California without family, without friends. There's a lot of self-negative talk that I was experiencing during this time, but thank God for David that like, it's just like, no, I think you can make it. You just keep studying. He had no doubt in his mind that I was going to make it this far. I was doubting the whole, until I got that call, CSF, I was doubting the whole way.
We tend to do that, right? Sometimes we can't see what the Lord has in store for us. Sometimes we need those guides in our life to help us navigate because our mind is in other places. I'm grateful that you've had angels in your life. You mentioned earlier that your mom was deported. Was your dad also deported as well?
My dad was deported my junior year of high school, and my mom was deported my junior year of college. You know, you're trying to make it into college. Instead of going to an Italian immersion school where I would get affluent in my Italian skills and so much other things, I decided to go to an alternative school that's like a pipeline or a feeder school to really established colleges. Okay. And so I wanted to be with the nerdiest of nerds, like Big Bang Theory. So I was like, no, I have to get
nerdy.
in. Love it. Yes, I was like, I have to get in with them because they're going far. I got into that school. Oh my gosh, the classes were super hard. And then I got into IB, which is International Baccalaureate. If it wasn't for my dad, I don't think I could have gotten into the IB program because he was an accountant, but he was also a teacher as well. And so he taught me math, chemistry, and the sciences. He was my teacher. Like I would come to him like, I don't get how to do this math equation. I don't understand log. Log and conversions was for some reason the bane of my existence. What? Why is it zero?
Like I see it, but I don't see it.
I don't get why this is wrong. Who made? I'm like literally tapping. Let me calm down because I was pissed.
PTSD, bring it back.
I was like, no, Dad, this makes no sense. I did not get through my math classes or my chemistry classes. But it was so funny. When he was deported, it was right before one of my chemistry midterms. It was like the night before my chemistry midterm. And I was pissed. I was like, dang. I was kind of going to cram a lot of questions with the support of my dad. And then we found out that he was deported from work.
There was no time for you to say goodbye. It was literally you came home and he was gone.
Yeah. Literally, like, he always takes me. He was my chauffeur. If you ask all my sisters, you know Dad was our chauffeur. As soon as it's 3:45, whenever you're clocking out of high school, he would be there and drive you to the library. He wanted to make sure you were doing your homework. He didn't want you to bring it home. He would always drive us to the library. I literally texted him, I was like, hey, one of my books came at the library. And he was very short. It's like he was trying to save minutes for some reason. And we had a whole unlimited plan. His responses would always be okay. So he replied, okay. So I'm expecting this man to be there to pick me up after school's out. But he doesn't. And it's like 45 minutes. So then I just take the city train. I couldn't reach him. I call him. I couldn't reach him. No one knows where he's at. Instead of going straight to the library, I come home. I didn't even suspect anything was wrong. I walk up the stairs and I greet my mom. And then she gets a call and she's just screaming.
No one knew at this time.
She's just screaming. Screaming in an African household is very normal. So I was like, she probably talking to who knows who from church. This is not an emergency. until she calls us all down and she's just like, they've gotten your dad. But we knew who they were. In my family, it wasn't spoken about. We kept our movement to just home, the library, and church. Any other activity was related to those things. It was like summer reading program, yes, you're allowed to be there. Church service on Wednesday, yes.
That's on the approved list.
Approved list of itineraries. Like all these experiences that I feel like a normal American could have.
Yeah.
I wasn't doing them. Like you were, that's not the experience that my parents were allowing us to have because you're undocumented. If at any point I slipped up, I was so surprised. Like, you guys are telling me this now. I could have slipped up so many times and none of us got papers. Which is probably why they didn't tell me, because they wanted me to live as normal as possible and think as big as possible. And I must say, when I finally understood that I was undocumented, once I saw how much like barriers there were, I was actually almost like limiting the dream that I could have. And it wasn't until 2011 Obama signed the executive order for Dreamers to get some sort of status. And that was on my birthday. And my mom was like, look at God, he's moving. I didn't even have college on my plan. I had great grades, but I was like, I only see a few schools giving undocumented students access to college, mainly the Ivy Leagues. And I knew that the students getting Ivy League experiences were getting full tuition coverage, but were they getting anything else? I didn't know if I could do that. I was still working hard towards it. And then, we got our DACA status. So me and my dad finally signed all the paperwork for me to get my DACA status, September 11th.
Wow.
And I remember it being September 11th. They talk about it and discuss it in school. But the very next day, my dad was taken. Because he had to be my witness.
That's hard. After he leaves, these are formative years, in the developmental years with teenagers going through so many things.
Exactly.
Now you have to not only navigate college and figuring out your future, but like also being there for your family. Not having your full family with you, right?
Yeah.
So now it's your mom, it's your 3 sisters, plus whoever else was living with you at the time. Up until the point where your mom gets deported, what was that like?
It's kind of hard. I was the first one to leave to go to college. So it was like
and you make it to college. Come on, because that's also huge.
And I got a full ride. God is all in the story. Every time I'm like, I think I'm gonna fail, he's like, yeah, but I don't fail.
Come on. Ooh, if y'all see us shout during this moment, just know. Because wow.
Yeah, like, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna fail. He's like, yeah, but I don't fail. I can use this. So many times I'm like, this is gonna go wrong. There's no way I can go to college. There's no way someone's gonna give me a full ride. They give me not only a full ride, they pay for housing, they give me a free laptop. He's just making a way. I want to go to dental school. I know I have to have certain high stats. I get the news. I'm walking from class one day and then I get the news from my lawyer. We need you to write an affidavit, basically explaining why your mom needs to stay in America. Are you actually being serious?
Right. Do I need to do this now?
So like in that first 30 minutes, I'm like, okay, this is before ChatGPT. I was like, my mother, because she birthed me and she's been, I'm trying to figure out like, what does the government want to hear from me that I need my mom? The first 2 sentences, I'm like, okay, this is strong. Maybe 2 more sentences. I sit on top of my bunk bed and I'm crying. I turn off all the lights. Like, oh my God, my mom's not gonna be there for my graduation. Everything's just hitting me all at once. If they're coming after my mom, they're probably coming after me. This is also during the election season, very turbulent times. Before unprecedented times became unprecedented, we did all we could. And I'm so thankful to my roommate Shona because she came in like maybe an hour after. It's super dark. She's like, what's going on? She thought I was having boy trouble. Mom, I did not have a boyfriend in college.
Never.
I was focused on my studies, very focused on my studies. But that's what she asked me. And I was like, look at the laptop. She reads a few sentences. She's really close to my mom. She's from Nepal. She'd be praying with my mom. it's real crazy. So she got emotional. But when she started crying, I started crying. Because I was like, not you feeling affected by my mom leaving. And she's like, no, you have to leave. I was like, leave to go where? She's like, no, you need to take a leave of absence. Your mom's being deported. And I was like, first of all, I come from an upbringing that what you start, you finish. You don't do leave of absences. Once again, I'm learning what it is to be American. And then also DACA was such a weird thing. It's like, it gave you more opportunities, but you know you're so stuck in this loop. Because every year you're having to basically renew. And so if you get denied at any point, you would. So it's like, it's such a back and forth. I was like, no, that's what Americans do. They can take their leave of absences.
It's a privilege.
I will continue staying here, finishing school. And she's like, no, you need to leave. You need to leave. She gets her laptop. She just does it for me. She puts in the whole application. I'm always grading her essays. Suddenly she has all the vocabulary.
Come on now. So you did know how to do that.
Yeah.
I got you.
But once they actually saw the submission of the application, the college itself backed me up. They wrote her an affidavit. Oh, there was a strong presence of allies for undocumented students at Berea. The president of my school wrote an affidavit to keep her here.
Wow. After that happened, you're a junior in college, and then that's when you decided to come to California after you graduated from college. You make it to California.
Yeah.
You're doing research, and we're attempting to get into dental school.
Correct.
Walk me through that journey of getting to California and then making the transition to get into dental school.
Yeah, so it was kind of interesting. I was doubting myself the whole way through. But I kept telling God, if you want it, it's going to happen. If you want it, you can make it happen. One thing I really worked for, don't tell yourself no before they tell you no. I feel like people, if they would just have the audacity, Faith, to tell themselves yes before they wait for someone else's yes, go on that solo date. Go on that solo trip. You're interested in something, go. Stop waiting for everyone else. It's not a committee decision. There's actually not many things outside of your family that's a committee decision. Just do it. The first thing I had to do was study for the DAT. I had to save up $500 at the time.
It's not cheap.
Yeah, it's not cheap. I think dentistry is the most financially gate-kept industry. Not the most. It's one of. It's amongst.
It's up there.
It's up there.
it's very well up there.
It's very much up there. But yeah, you had to raise funds for $500 your DAT. Then my mentor was like, "What?" Each application is like $150
per school.
And if they like you, they want a supplemental, which is another $50 to $75. And then if they really like you, they want you to fly out on your own expense to come see them, for them to figure out they like you.
Correct. That's just plane ticket, but you have to pay for hotel. You have to pay for food as well.
Yeah, you don't need to eat. You need to fast.
Right. Right. Save your money.
Save your money. I did not eat. Every school I applied to wanted to interview me. So I was like, okay, God, you're doing something.
We thank you.
I was like, God, you're doing something. I was like, another one.
Because let's also talk about the fact that when we apply to these graduate programs, we're applying to these programs where not many people look like us. We're already going in feeling like we don't have what it takes because you're not even accepting people that look like us.
Exactly.
When we get these interviews from these places, it confirms and affirms what we already thought we knew, but what God has already placed into our lives.
I get the interviews. I am excited because I'm just like, I am about to tear this ish up. The acceptances I got were really good. I got the acceptances I wanted, but the one that I didn't get on decision day was UCSF.
Decision day is December 1st usually.
In the pandemic, it was like December 15th. I think now it's like December 1st.
You were also pandemic year applicant, so that's also a lot going on there. Yeah.
So in the pandemic, there was twice as many applicants than average to dental school. So there was a higher volume of competition. I got into USC with scholarship. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to California. I'm going to LA. That's exciting. But this is the highest ticketed item on my list.
USC is super expensive.
Like top 3 most expensive dental schools outside of the Ivy Leagues. So I was just like, wow, that's $500,000 for 1 degree.
But that's where you want me to be, okay, but
I think, you know what, my takeaway and what me and my sisters, literally, I remember us like having a praise dance around the kitchen table because what we confirmed, God wants me to be a dentist. I'm really being obedient because I'm having dreams about it. I'm talking to people about it. Every side career that I'm doing, whether it's staging, interior design, photography, directing, YouTube editing, all the side careers, every time, oh, you're good with kids. Oh my gosh, I like your smile. Oh, I think you're really good with aesthetics. Everything keeps confirming like, okay, I would be a good dentist. But yeah, I was like, no, I don't think I'm a good dentist until God tells me I'm a good dentist. Because what if this career isn't for me and God really wants me to do other things? So that was a good confirmation. Being a non-traditional student is advantageous because you get to be in the real world. 2, you get to learn how to be a professional, which like a lot of college students don't know until
they get into the real world.
Until you get into professional school and you realize you can't mix social and professional life in any way. But yeah, at this point, USC and UCSF and most of the schools I got accepted to, I wanted a decision by January 15th or something like that.
Which also takes more money because you have to pay a deposit. Yeah.
Oh!
Yeah, you have to pay a deposit.
Let me shout out the people.
Yep.
Let me shout out the people right now who gave me my deposit because a girl was broke, okay? A girl already spent like $2.5K just to get into dental, just to apply to dental school. I want to thank Sophia. I want to thank Auntie Stella because my mom had to ask them to basically loan me that $3K. I didn't have $3K. That's just a deposit, y'all. The deposit. To hold my seat.
Yep.
And I was like, hold on, Lord. Then I started getting crazy fast because the way that I got a full ride to undergrad, maybe there's a sponsor on the way.
Yeah, come on now. Just be patient. Just be patient.
You should have seen the way I was at the airport. Just like, I'd always be carrying the application. Just laying it all over the place. Like, recently I stepped into dental school. These sponsors, future dentists, I'm right here. I was like, no, Lord, you're going to have to do it because $500,000 and the deposit turnaround in 3 weeks, $1K. I was literally thinking, like, how many babysitting jobs will I need to do just to make $1K per week? Now, like, girl, I'm so thankful to those individuals who really helped me hold my seat to dental school. And then I remember waking up, not in the best mood. It was raining in Davis. I was listening in on this physics class, and it was a meh day. Then I see this number from San Francisco. I was like, now I'm getting a telemarketer call. San Francisco is very specific. I don't think that there's a lot of scammers in San Francisco. It's always Florida. So I was just like, let me just pick up this call to see. And she's like, hi, am I speaking with Paola? I was like, yeah, this is her.
Because who is this?
Like, you already know too much.
My number is already too much.
And you know my name, but you're verifying. So like, who's this?
The voice change is crazy.
I was like, yeah, who's this? She's like, hi, this is Julia Hang from UCSF. I said, oh, hi. Yes, this is her. Yes, And she's like, hi, I'm just calling to let you know that we really loved your application and we want to take you off the wait list and you're accepted to UCSF.
Wow.
And I was like, yes, I accept. She's like, yes, you'll need another deposit to confirm your seat. Oh, yes,
We're going to find a way.
Not a problem. That's great. Oh, my Lord. Oh, you've also been granted this scholarship. I was like, oh, wow. Amazing. I hung up that call. I text my family group and my friend Sophia because now she's at Harvard. I was doubting myself, but everyone else was like, no, you got it. I was like, wait, Sophia, I guess I am smart. I literally have a screenshot of that message because I was doubting it this whole time. She was like, yeah, bitch, duh.
I've been trying to tell you, duh.
I've been trying to tell you. And I was just like, oh, not the top med school thinking I'm smart. I just had a whole moment, closed that entire laptop. I was like, class is canceled.
Yeah, I'm down for the day.
Yeah. I was just like, wow.
Let me also say that the percentage of black dentists in America is only 3.8%. And that's from the American Dental Association research done in 2022.
Yeah.
The black population in the States is like 12%. As a black student of color in the dental school at UCSF, how has your experience been?
Ooh. Oh, I'm going to definitely synopsis this.
Right, because we could be here for 2 more hours, y'all.
We ain't got time. We ain't got time. But I will say I got accepted in the middle of the pandemic, right after I held my seat for UCSF, maybe a month after the case about George Floyd happens. It's a different time. It's a different level of conversation that's happening. It's a different level of awareness of what it means to be a career person that helps Black people. It's a really weird time to be in. You talked about the Black population in the US is 12%. And in UCSF's history, they accepted 8 Black students, which for the first time matched the national average. So we were 13% for the first time.
We're talking about 2020.
2021 is when I got accepted. Yeah. So we're now matching the national average. And did they know it? They put it on their website and they let us know these are the percentages of our class body. And I had such a sense of pride. Like, yes, this institution is trying to get it right in terms of seeing the value in us, seeing, you know, when you equip us with knowledge, how the different health outcomes can be.
Absolutely.
I have not watched the news as religiously as I did during those trials. But I was watching those trials and I think a person who has that knowledge chose to weaponize their knowledge. And I just know that if they had the education and if they could have just been met 2 weeks prior, even like just recently, the case, there was this woman that I just saw this oral surgery rotation that I had. I know we get so busy. This patient had a whole swelling here due to a decay. She was adamant. I just need this tooth out because I want to get them all out so I can get implants. I was like, now that's a strategy. Let me inquire more. The way that like that white physician who is right next to me, resident who is right next to me, they hear this often, but it's not a concern for them. It's not ringing a bell. They're like, interesting. They're trying to solve just this problem, the holistic problem of what she's informing you. Like
she
that.
Said she wanted all of her teeth.
She just wanted all of her teeth out, and you don't think like, okay, we need to say more of like, okay, we need to follow up on that. You just want to focus on this area. I was disappointed. After you shared, we can definitely get this tooth out, but we'll have to drain it first, and then you come back for your extraction. Once again, I'm quiet. You're my resident. But I was like, okay, I am the dentist in the room. I'm going to use the education I do know to inform you of your other options. I asked her gently, have you been to the dentist recently? She's like, no, I haven't been to the dentist since I was a kid. I was like, oh, so then how did you learn about implants? She's like, I just see that that's what everyone's getting. And since I have teeth out, that's kind of what you do. I don't want dentures though. I was like, okay, so you know what dentures are. She was like, yeah, I don't want to take them out. I think it's really powerful for doctors to meet patients where they are and take them across the line. People do not, like for me, when I was 21, I did not know anything about dentistry. I used to have my small little notebook of when I was shadowing my dentist in New York, all the things I learned about dentistry. I just thought it was cleaning teeth. And then you would like occasionally like build up a teeth. That's because of fillings. Like I knew cleaning and fillings. I didn't know the whole scope of what it was. So much so that I even heard people say it should be a trade. And I was like, yeah, that makes sense. Like you're just drilling and filling. Like duh, it should be. Now that's dangerous.
Yes, it is.
So I was able, after we did the IND, I had to let her know, like, hey, you probably do not want to take out all these teeth. These teeth are anchored to your bone. This bone that you want the implants, here's your goal. This is the goal where you want us. We need all that bone.
Correct.
So we need all these teeth to stay where they are. So here's your task until I see you next. Do you floss? No. How often do you brush? Once. You're using different colloquialism. Even if it was an African, I would be pulling out all my. If I could, I would be pulling out all my Creole and Igbo, whatever I need to do for it. Because I think language is also something that really speaks to the heart. It's not just about translating or interpreting. You feel at home. You feel like the person sees you, knows your background. It cements, it grounds them in a place where you're going deep into the foundation. It plants the seed so deep that when they continue seeing you, it's like breaking through every other misinformation they can get. I was really happy that she left there and understood and was willing to keep all of her teeth. She no longer wanted to get implants. I also gave her the different breakdowns of what it on average would cost of a full mouth reconstruction.
Did she know that?
No.
Implants are like the Ferrari.
I said,
the Beyonce treatment.
Correct. I was like, I don't know what your circumstances are, but if it was my mouth, I was like, if it was my choice, can I see some really good teeth here? Maybe $500,000. Each of these cost maybe $15K minimum. Correct. And I know UCSF will give it to you. You only get one for maybe like $3K at UCSF. So I don't know where you gonna go to get a full mouth one. That's not happening.
Correct.
And I asked her, what insurance do you have? There's just so much work that dentists do. I thought about public health dentistry, advocacy work, and that's what led me to dentistry. Before I wanted to do dentistry, I wanted to be a lawyer. Before I wanted to be a lawyer, I wanted to be a writer. Before I wanted to be a writer, I wanted to be a linguist. And I feel like I'm living the best of all four worlds because I get to practice my Spanish. I get to advocate. That's what my social media is all about, urging people to make different choices. That's what I want to sit here and do until I'm done working, honestly. And I want to save teeth, and I want to help save lives. Yeah. That George Floyd moment really spoke volumes to me. And I felt like I was going into an environment that really understood the weight of what that meant for society. So yeah, I got into dental school. The first 2 years were the hardest. I think now looking back at it, if anyone tells you med school is not ghetto, I'm telling you it's ghetto. And I wish I could tell you it's the ghetto that you experience or you're coming out of. No, that's better. Wow. That med school is worse. Yeah. I would take my ghetto in Columbus, Ohio, Franklin County over the ghetto I just saw at UCSF. But my experience, I think I got the knowledge I needed, but what it cost me was my mental health. Yeah. I dealt with suicidal ideations. Unfortunately, I did act on them. And if it wasn't for UCSF and the resources, I probably wouldn't have made it through my first year. I'm walking out with maybe less than a handful of friends. I can say, like, if I have dental related questions, I know they got me and they won't judge me. I have Dr. Benjamin, Dr. Tuck, Dr. Perkins. I have a lot of staff that I know will support me after graduate school. And I'm really thankful for them. They're my saving grace because the knowledge is a lot. It is a lot of information, but I think the ingesting could be a lot easier if I felt like a community the first 2 years to really help me. I think I'm really happy that the story that I have, I can help others. What I've learned is that my story is not unique, and that honestly takes me back to the advocacy thing. As a Black woman, it's very lonely. There's not enough resources at a lot of schools that are not used to dealing with an array of Black people. Yeah. I think there's just a lot of room to improve in the dental space and in dentistry itself of how to create safer environments for Black and Latino students as well. Just my experience, but I'm honestly happy that I have seen it firsthand. What's so crazy is I went to school in the South. I went to school in the Midwest, and you would think those areas would be the place where you would see racism, discrimination, harassment, but it was actually in California that I've experienced the most of it.
But you don't usually put those two together.
I feel like everyone keeps, like, California has sold me a dream that's not true. Like, they told me it was the most diverse. It's the most segregated state I've ever been in. They said it was liberal.
Outside of, like, Oakland, San Francisco, it's nice.
Yeah. You have to definitely watch where you go. But
it does get better.
It does. And I do think this place is actually growing on me in some ways because I'm in Oakland. I'm surrounded with people who not only are professionals or in corporate world, but they're trying to make their mark. They're knowing how to navigate through it. And I think it's a skill I need to learn here before I go elsewhere. I think I'm ready to take what UCSF has taught me and the experience to wherever I'm going next.
Thank you for sharing that. You really remind me of the rose that grew through the concrete. It's this beautiful thing that has grew from the concrete jungle, if you will, right? Yeah. Like all these things that have come up. So I want to transition into pivotal moments that have helped shape you. Who or what do you draw inspiration from?
I feel like I get inspiration from everyone nowadays. Maybe it's just right now I'm really reflective, but even just to start with you, I'm inspired because you're at UCSF. You were able to make it into that system. You're able to not only go through residency, but also to leave a positive impact if they wanted to invite you back. And I'm just so happy that you're there because until I knew that you were coming, and I think I met you through Instagram and I messaged you and then you started coming to the school. I think having Black presence in white and Asian spaces is so pivotal. I've gone several weeks without seeing a Black person.
Easily.
In San Francisco.
Easily.
When I come into school, if I'm not seeing my classmates and we end up having different rotations, it's hard to even stay in touch there.
Yeah.
But it's also nice to see the end of the road, the expert, the person that has the experience coming in, like with Dr. Benjamin and you. It's just like being with you guys. I can imagine what it would feel like if I had gone to an HBCU. At my core, I'm like, no, this is what it would feel like if I had my aunt and uncle or my brother with me. Because it's like, you're challenging me, but you're meeting me where I am. It's not an exam. And because it's not an exam, I know you're not doubting my intelligence, where maybe another faculty will ask me probably the same question, but they're not realizing the tone or the timing of how they're asking that question. But every time I'm like, I see you guys, I'm like, not only about to be on my P's and Q's, I'm ready to impress. And I think I do that naturally, but now I'm like, no, I'm about to go the extra mile, because like, you're a pediatric dentist, or like Dr. Benjamin's a GP, so I'm like, I have to get this procedure right. I have to show her that I want to make you guys proud. And I think just your existence is what inspires me, because then it makes me think, if the end of the road is possible for someone else, I just got to get through today, this session, this patient. That's what I'm most inspired by.
Religion has played a role in your journey to becoming Dr. Paola, PaoHerFul. Give me a little bit about how religion has done so for you in your walk.
I honestly owe all of this to God, specifically Jesus Christ. I'm being very specific, because if it wasn't for the Lord who put his life on the cross, what's really inspiring about how I draw inspiration from Christ is there's just so many people that he touched, and he did it very intentionally, and he didn't leave anyone behind. God is really about not leaving anyone behind. That helps me know he won't leave me behind, but I also can't leave the patient behind. They're meeting me, and I am his representation. If I'm an extension of him, how would he treat this patient? And so on days where I'm not getting it right, I get really hard on myself. If I had just reread that PowerPoint, I could have done this a little different. But it's made me realize, because of him and how he's shaping my life right here with me. And I like to really involve him on everything, because it says that he wants to be involved. He's watching over us. If there's a God that's that intentional about me, why wouldn't I be intentional about myself, how I treat other people? And that's the space I've really been trying to stay in, despite all the weapons that feel like they're forming and prospering in my life. God is my defense. I just have to stay focused on what's in my hands. I just have to focus on doing my best work there. And that's what's really just anchored me. Just his life of just like not leaving anyone behind.
Wow. What are some of your favorite, if you have some, inspirational quotes or affirmations that carry you through, or at least something now? Because it could just be one that you have today. Mine's changed. Depending on how I'm feeling.
Oh, look at God.
Come on now, right there.
The way a girl, I love journaling, I love writing. So I was writing about the audacity of faith. It's a sermon that I was reading. The reason why I think that I am a little strange is that I can be really bold. And I think it's just maybe my upbringing, because I was raised in a Christian home where exercising your faith was like a thing to do. One thing that I like, it's a quote from Pastor Mike Todd. It's an affirmation of, I have audacity because I have been given authority. Because Jesus has authority, he's given us authority. That's why I can have the audacity to walk boldly in my faith, to do the things that honestly would probably make me an outlier or the most problematic student. But he's not asking me to be the most liked. It's a lie that you have to be liked to be effective.
Wow.
I was just so rattled by that, because this whole time, I think in dentistry, you want to be liked. You want to fit in with every crowd and every crew. And even now that I'm going to residency, I want to do well. But I realize if I'm doing my work, then I'm walking boldly in the authority that God has given me. And so, that's the quote that I would say.
I love that. I think that's sometimes human nature of us to want to have other people's likes and be popular. But you're absolutely right. Like, as long as I'm good with God and I know I'm okay. But sometimes we hear from other people before we hear from what God wants us to hear, and that can overwhelm us.
There was a time where I told you I was doubting myself the whole time. That's when you had to quiet and go back to the first voice you heard, which is God. Get your answer, hear from Him first. You're waiting for all of these people to like you to be effective, but what did God say? What does He say about how He wants you to write down the vision? Help that other person slow down and do X, Y, or Z.
You just ministered to me. I didn't even know it.
That's the biggest thing, and I'm so thankful. I am thankful to UCSF because I was just sharing this last week. I've never had enemies. I've never had haters. I've never had anyone who did not like me. I was always that social butterfly going between groups throughout high school, middle school, college, until now, until I became a target. That's when my faith got a lot deeper, where it's like, no, yeah, God is with me. He literally is the one who's blessing my hand to do this. At some point, I'm thinking, okay, it's just I'm doing all this for God.
Yeah.
I start to think, I got this. But then at the end of the day, what did I pay to have the breath in my lungs today? I gave nothing. I gave nothing. Yet He still wants me here. So clearly I'm not done. Yeah. So why would I be waiting for someone else to tell me go when He's already given me permission? He's already given me the authority. He's already given me the audacity. He just wants me to put the work in the faith.
That's it.
One thing I will be taking with from my experience at UCSF is continue to be audacious.
Wow. I'm super grateful that you came to UCSF as well. As I was the only Black male in my dental school class. Understand, I can be empathetic with you as well through that, but it's still different. Right? It's still different that what you've had to go through, what we've had to go through is still in the 2000s, right? But I want to pivot into uplifting. Words of encouragement for the next generation.
Ooh. I would say, if you want to do medicine, if you want to do dentistry, if you want to do pharmacy, if you want to do tech, if you want to do corporate, I would say you're going to do it. If God wants you to do it, He's going to get you there. You can kick and cry and scheme and do all the other things. He'll put you where you need to be. But I must say, you need to talk to God. You need to journal. You need to talk to yourself. You need to journal. Your mental health, no matter how far you go, your mindset is what's going to shift everything. If He wants more for you, but you're doubting, you're not going to be aligned with Him. You need to get your mind straight, because you can't study. You can't even open a book and say you're going to memorize it without thinking, actually, I already know this. I know that the God who put the information in someone else's brain to write a whole book wants me to learn it. You have to have a whole different mindset to read that paragraph and know, yeah, I'm going to get it. If you don't have that mindset, you're going to read it like, oh, this is overwhelming me. The way I studied for my DAT is so different than how I studied for my boards and my licensing. I remember there was the Bible verse of Jesus in Gethsemane, of like, Lord, take this cup from me. That was my anchoring Bible verse. When I was studying for my boards, I was like, Lord, you did not lead me this far to just bring me this far. So it's a different mindset. Lord, I can see the vision that you have for me. We're about to go get it.
Yeah.
It's a different, je ne sais quoi.
Uh-huh. Yes. Yes.
So yeah, I think our minds are the last areas of real estate that the world can get.
And you just mentioned something that I was about to go into, which is self-care and mental health and pouring into oneself. How do you do that for yourself?
For me, I love to dance.
Lovely.
I love to dance.
What kind of dance?
I dance all types of dance. I dance to gospel. I do Afrobeats. I do kizomba.
Oh, my Lord. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a workout.
I like to travel. God has not limited us to just our city. He created the whole world in His hand for us to go see it. Oh, yeah. I like to talk to my family. If you are journaling, which I highly recommend, go back once a quarter and read your manifesto, your personal statement, why you started it, and then write a new one. Because sometimes the person I thought I was going to be, I'm like, yeah, she's cute. She got me where I needed to be, like closer to the dream. But then there's a pivot, and you have to write a new one. You have to write a new letter to yourself. So keep writing letters to yourself and keep checking in with yourself.
What other things do you like to do for fun?
Oh, so I create content.
You are amazing.
It's a hobby that pays. I was like, okay, God, if you don't get me to dental school, this is what I'm going to be doing. Balancing two is actually really hard, but I'm glad I get to be better at that. I've recently been starting teaching people too, so that's fun. Because I think I like teaching. I like teaching or speaking. I can't tell which of the two, but yeah.
Okay. Noted. Okay.
So
great.
I'm exploring that and what that really means. So hobby, fun things. Playing tennis and volleyball just to stay active. One thing we have not touched on is to take care of your health. I lost 60 pounds in dental school. I went from 200 pounds to 135, 140.
Wow.
I did it in about 2 years. It was the mental health piece that helped me because I was so stuck in like, oh, I can't have a body that will look like this or be able to run. Running was like, who are we running from? Like,
sports.
Why are we running? We're doing that for fun. Yeah. Who's chasing you? Who is chasing you? I started with walking, and you're not drinking enough water. No one is drinking enough water. You need to drink water. Drink water.
She's really pointing that way, but it's like her energy right back at me. I got you.
Water helps metabolize fat. So once I learned how to actually eat properly, once I learned how to think properly, yeah, the two combined, I'm telling you, you're undefeatable.
Wow, thank you for that. What's next for Paola?
Okay, so here's what's actually happening, and then here's where my faith is going to take me. I'm going to go work in a community health clinic because one of the reasons why I wanted to come into dentistry was to work with undocumented, uninsured, uneducated patients and communities. That's what I'll be going to do.
Period. Creating better access to care for our community. Tell me a little bit about Sisters in Scrubs.
Oh my gosh. So Sisters in Scrubs is my baby project. I think people have heard like, if you don't see it, make it. When I posted that video, it reaffirmed. This video is where I talked about how being Black in healthcare spaces feels really lonely and your peers just don't know how to relate. I think it hits a core. We don't talk about Jesus enough in healthcare spaces. No one knows how transformative it is to have Jesus backing you and helping guide you through life. I'm not saying your life is going to be perfect. I'm not saying that you're not going to face diseases, but he is the healer amongst all healers. And if you pedestalize us as healers in your life, I think that you're doing a disservice. So from one healer to another, I wanted to create a space for Black Christian women who want to really fellowship. And we don't get to be healers each other. There's no spaces for us to come together and openly talk about our faith. A serendipitous discovery that someone also shares your faith. And I'm like, why? I feel like if we're supposed to be light of the world, it's supposed to be obvious, not only amongst each other, but to our peers so they know who to talk to. I love praying with my peers. Some of my classmates have come to church with me based on the social media things I've shared about my faith. I think that everyone should get a chance to try Jesus. You are probably their one opportunity to do that. It can be very subtle. I'm not asking for everyone to take a Bible and give it to everyone, but you are the word embodied, and that's living in you. So yeah, we're Black Christian women who like to do all things, not only just learn about each other, but supporting each other. I've learned about different spaces in healthcare I've never heard of.
Wow.
And it's just also nice to see how many connections we're building in this space. The thing that's really tying us together is our faith in Christ. And honestly, I think the reason why I like it so much is one thing we recently discussed is ethics. You just treat humans better when you realize that's your brother and sister on the line. The way you create systems, it shapes it. The way you consult shapes it. You wouldn't suggest certain things knowing that it could affect your brother and sister. It's nice to be amongst people who get the vision. We just have lots of ideas now and it's quite overwhelming. But yeah, those are my girls.
I love that. Curating a space for women in Christianity, but also sharing the word with others, sharing the love of Christ with others, right? Because we need that more than ever now. What impact do you hope to leave on this world?
Oh, I don't know. That's too big.
Nothing's too big for Christ, honey. Come on. Nothing's too big.
No. I think that's probably the only question that I even
did we stop you?
When it comes to child, every time I get a question like that, even in my journals, I skip right over it.
We're going to come back to that later. I'll hold her to it. Y'all hold her to it.
But
may I just say, I mentioned to you earlier that I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful to know you, to have you in this space of University of California, San Francisco School of Dentistry. I'm grateful for the impact that you are already making on this university, this school of dentistry that you've been at, but also the field of dentistry as a whole. Regardless of where you go, I just wanted to showcase how brilliant you are, how amazing you are, how much of an impact that you have already made on classmates, professors, your patients, the community in which you're working. The passion that you have for the field is undeniable. You are a unicorn and it is needed. And I know that it can be heavy, the burden or what we carry through this world and what you've had to go through. And so I'm so appreciative of all that you're giving to this world. And I know that that's a big question for you to answer now, but I hope that you just continue to keep him first. You never forget why you are here, who you're doing this for, who we're doing this for. So I just want to finish this up with some quick fire questions. Okay. It has to be quick, so like not thinking too much. Vanilla or chocolate?
Vanilla.
Sunny or rainy weather?
Sunny.
Favorite all-time movie?
Ooh, Narnia.
Ooh, favorite color?
Lavender.
Oh, I like that. Superpower that you really want to have?
Reading minds.
Oh, that's a good one as well. Favorite vacation spot? And favorite book of the Bible?
Psalms.
Very good. Thank you for allowing me to do this with you. I appreciate it. That's all I got.
This is good.
That's all I got. I hope it was good.
Tagging you.